Good morning. My name is Abby and this is Craft Studio. I am making some coffee and I thought I would share some finished objects with you today. I have a few, two. I have two finished objects. I have a couple whips. Well, I have more than a couple, but I'm only going to share a couple. Anyway, it is a beautiful day, and the weather has finally cooled off. Not cold, but it's not like 111 like it was last week. We had a horrible scorching week. So we are just thankful that the weather is a little bit better now. So my son left for college last week, and my girls started school last week. So last week was really crazy. So anyway, we have a lot going on still, and it's a new season. It's a new season. I've tried a few new knitting patterns that I wanted to talk about, and I tried some new yarn I wanted to talk about, and just fun stuff. I'm really looking forward to fall, and thinking about some fall projects, so I thought I would share about that, and just got lots of good stuff. So anyway, as soon as my coffee's done, I'm going to head into the dining room, and you can join me there, and we'll sit and talk about all these good things. Well, my daughter and I went for a walk yesterday, and we found these beautiful acorns, and that started me thinking about fall and all the... Now, no, we're not having leaves falling yet, but I just think these are beautiful acorns, and just, some of them are brown, some of them are kind of a golden color, some of them are green, some of them are dark green. They're just so many different colors. Some of them have the tops and the little stems on still. Some of them are just, just like this, plain and simple. But look at this one, it's green and then kind of yellow at the bottom. This one lost its stem, but it still has the little hat on. But yeah, and this one is fully intact, which I think is beautiful. But my daughter will not walk by a tree when she sees these and not pick them up. We've got a whole bowl of them. She loves picking up acorns. If she finds walnut shells that a squirrel has left, she will pick them up. And she loves pine cones, and she just loves picking up things. So anyway, that was fun to find on our little walk yesterday. We took the dog and went out for a walk. The weather is just in the last 2 days has been much more comfortable. It's not like scorching hot. We can actually go outside and enjoy the weather without, fainting from heat stroke. But anyway, so I said earlier that I had some finished objects to share with you, and I'm very, very excited to share what I've been working on. And it's funny because when I was working on this, I thought, well, these kind of look like acorns. But then my daughter was looking at it and she's like, Mommy, those look like raindrops. And I said, wow, you're very right. These look like raindrops. So this is the square that I was working on. This is from Annie's Block of the Month Knit Afghan. And this was actually the alternative block 11, I believe, and it came later. And I just saw it and I just was so mesmerized by it. I love the texture of it. And it's not a difficult pattern once you get the hang of it. It's actually, you know, repetitive. And I finished that, and then of course I needed to start in another color, so I started it in this color. This is called Cappuccino, I think. Let me check. This is in the Premier Anti-Pilling Everyday Worsted. So let's see what color it is. Yes, Cappuccino. So this is just started. So I really would like to make, and I like the back of it too. The back is you know, it's plain compared to the front, but it's still got some texture and some visual attractiveness, I think. But I was wanting to make a bunch of blocks like this, just in different colors, and then piecing them together. I have not blocked this yet. I don't know where my blocking boards are. I know where the pins are, but I don't know which tote in the garage has my blocking mats. So I need to block this, and then it will look much better. And I haven't weaved in the two ends. But I started this a while back, and I got about this far into it and put it down. And I came back to it last week, the middle of last week, and I tried to figure out in the pattern where I was, and I thought I had it, so I started in, and then when I finished a row and I realized this isn't matching, so I had to rip it back, which was agonizing. It was agonizing. I hate ripping knitting back because I'm so terrified I was going to drop a stitch, and I always do. And then I just sit there holding my breath until I pick the stitch back up and get it on a needle. So I thought I knew where I was, so I started, it wasn't right, I had to rip it back. I started again, did a couple rows, and it was matching, but it was like off by 2 or 3 stitches. So the pattern where it was supposed to be, it was like to the side. And I was like, okay, that's obvious, it's gonna show. So I had to rip back 3 rows. I was so frustrated, but I wanted to finish this. I wanted to finish it. So I did a lot of, I'm not even gonna tell you. So frustrated and so upset. But anyway, so I finally got it to the point where I was, and I was able to go back. I was able to finish it. What I ended up having to do, because, I mean, the pattern is a repeat, but it's like row 2 through row 13. So I had trouble remembering what row I was on. So I had to do my method of writing down each row. And what I did was, instead of rewriting the pattern, because I've never rewritten a knit pattern, I've done that for crochet, but not for knit. So what I ended up doing, I just got a spare sheet of paper and just wrote down what row I was on. When I finished that row, I checked it off. Then I wrote down the next row. I just wrote row 1, row 2, row 3. I didn't write down all the instructions. I did, however, print the pattern off instead of looking at the computer, because it was a smaller print and it kind of hurt my eyes staring at the screen. And I was very, very thankful, and I didn't know this, but when I printed it off, it was in much larger print. So that helped out a great deal. So, yes, there's that. And I'm really excited about this. I can't wait to finish that. I think this will look so beautiful in the different colors. I have a cream color. I have kind of a dark brown, very muted brown. And I just think they're gonna look lovely. But I was gonna piece them together like front to back, like this, so that you have this texture, but you have this too. So either side, or either way, you have the Afghan, you're gonna have some pretty, and then you're gonna have some, oh, that's interesting, because that kind of looks like rain going down the window or something, and then this looks like raindrops. So I thought that was really pretty. Okay, so my next finished object, this was one that I started a while back, and I decided to pick it back up. And oh, isn't this cute? I don't know if you guys have any of these or have seen these. These are, I think they're called a knitting caddy. They have, this is vintage. I got it off Etsy. I had been looking for one. It has a handle. It has this nifty little locking lid. But also it has a little space right here on the end where you can have your yarn coming out, so you can sit your yarn in there. It even fits your knitting needles. It fits the pattern. If you need scissors, you can just put everything in there and take it with you. And it has this locking lid, so it won't, you know, fall out or anything. But anyway, it's really pretty. But some of the ones I had found on Etsy didn't look so great. So I had to look through several of them until I found one that was in pretty good condition for its age. I'll show you the inside. It's just, you know, nothing fancy or anything, but and it's not plastic. I think it's like cardboard or something. I'm not sure what but I really like the locking and the handle. Some of them, the handles weren't very good, the lids weren't very good, you know, but they just find them whatever condition they're in, and then you can choose to whether you buy them or not. But this one was in really good condition, and I really love this. This is really fun. So anyway, this is what I kept this in. So the yarn that I used is Yarn Bee. This is Nature's Nook. Now, I've shared about this yarn before. This is very messy yarn, okay? It's fun, it's got great texture, but I know this isn't for everyone because it does have different widths of yarn. You can see right there that it's got a tuft of yarn, and that's just how it is. That's just throughout, that's how it is. It's wild, kind of natural yarn, but it comes in many different, well, not many, I would say maybe 6 different colors. I personally love it. It is really fun to work with, and I just like how it looks very natural and not processed and not perfect, you know what I mean? But it's 54% acrylic, 28% lyocell, and 18% flax. Now, I don't know what lyocell is. I do know what flax is, but anyway, it's very, I like it. It's very soft. However, because of the nature of the yarn, how it's, you know, not even, it does tend to make your piece look a little bit lumpy. Now, I don't mind that. I'm fine with that, but that may bother people, okay? That may bother some of you out there that want your knitting to be even or flat or whatever. It doesn't bother me. But, and I have not blocked this, so this looks a little bit weird, but this is a little rocking horse. It's a knit dishcloth I made, and as you can see in the back, it does have some lumps, quite a few actually. There's at least 6 maybe. But you know, it just, I don't know, to me it looks natural. It looks, oh look, yeah, look at this. This is a piece of the yarn, as you can see. Yeah, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. And some people would say, well, isn't that difficult to knit with? Not really. I can see how it would be difficult to crochet with, but knitting, it's not really difficult. But anyway, yeah, it's a little rocking horse, and I had started it quite a while ago and put it in my little caddy, but I decided to pull it out and finish it. And I'm trying to get my daughter interested in knitting. She's the one that crochets, my youngest. She loves to crochet, but she's only chained so far. And I said, well, do you want to learn some different stitches? And, oh, no, I'm fine. So maybe we'll work into that. But anyway, so I was showing her while I was knitting. I was showing her, and I was like, oh, look what I'm making. See, I just do this and I do this, and she's like, oh yes, that's fair. And then I showed her the finished project, and I said, look what I made. She's like, oh, that's so nice. But she didn't say anything more than that. And maybe someday. These are some vintage knitting needles I found, and I can't remember where I found them, but I am using these on my projects. They are very wonderful. I really like them. When I was working on this, I had a clover, it was bamboo, a circular needle, and the yarn just really was sticking to the bamboo, and it could have been the heat, I don't know, or could have been my own fingers. But anyway, the metal just really works well for me. It is very slippery though. You have to hold on to it. You have to be so careful. But also these are Bates, Susan Bates, I think. Yeah, these are Susan Bates. So these are just plastic. These are more, how do I say this? The yarn slides better. They look like chopsticks. The yarn slides better on these than the bamboo, but not as slippery as the I think they're aluminum. And these are a little bit heavier, but they're not heavy. These are still pretty light for, you know, aluminum. But so I would say these are in the middle. So you've got any kind of wood. They kind of grip the yarn. These are kind of next up, and then these would be the slipperiest. So if you're brand new to knitting, or you're still very new to knitting, you don't want to use the metal. Just FYI. Okay. Oh, so another project I started, and I I did okay for the most part, but I messed it up too. This is a free pattern. I will put the link in the description box. This is for a knit acorn, and so I made my little acorn. I have not weaved in the ends, and it's not attached, and I need to put stuffing in it and everything, but this is the little nut part, this is the cap, and I sewed it the wrong way. It was supposed to have a stem, and it's supposed to be the seed stitch, but I think because I didn't have the right amount of cast-on stitches, I made it a little bit bigger than what was in the pattern, because I didn't want it super tiny, but yeah, it turned out to be like a stretchy, yeah, it's not right. It's not right. So anyway, but the bottom part I think is okay. But I wanted to make more of these because I think these are just so adorable. And the yarn I am using is, I've never tried this yarn before. A friend of mine uses it all the time. She loves it, and it's Brava worsted. I found these on Amazon. They're just little 25 grams. This is by Knit Picks, and it's a worsted. It's a number 4. It's 100% premium acrylic. So I use these two colors. This is persimmon and this is sienna, and I use these to make the little acorn. So, and I really like this yarn. It is soft, it's thick, it's rich. It's very nice yarn, and it wasn't very expensive either. I mean, I just bought a pack of these little 25 gram things in different colors, just for fun little projects like these, seasonal projects. Very, very fun, because you have an array of colors that you can choose from, but you don't have to buy a whole skein to make one little acorn. You know what I mean? These are perfect for that. Okay. Okay, so this is a free pattern from Hirschner's. This is a dishcloth pattern, so it's free. But anyway, this side is all purling except for the edges, which is knit. So there's 5 stitches of knit on this side, 5 stitches of knit on this side, and then on the back side it's purl, purl, purl. So I'm going to show you really fast how I learned to loosen up my purl stitches. So I have the yarn wrapped, I wrap it around my pinky, and then, let me do, is that right? So I wrap it around my fingers so I can control the tension. My fingers always, this is called continental knitting. If I were to be holding the yarn in my right hand and throwing it, that's called English knitting. This is easier for me because I started out crocheting. If I had knitted first, it may not have been. But anyway, so we're going to knit the first 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so when I go to purl, you want to move your stitches up to here, okay? And then you're going to take your right needle, go under the stitch. You're going to grab the yarn, pull it around. And then as I do that, just kind of loosen up the yarn and pull up so you have more slack on the purl, and then just lift it off. And it will get to where you just do it automatic. Just move them up, purl. And I am using aluminum, I think these are aluminum. So the yarn is moves pretty easily. So you want to keep control of the yarn. I am keeping control of what stitch comes up with my middle finger. I'm holding with these 2 fingers, and my pinky is pretty much controlling the yarn tension. So it's under the pinky, over the ring finger, under the middle finger, and up over the first finger. Okay, that's how I have it, and you will get it to where it's comfortable for you. So I move the stitches up with my thumb, but I make sure that it's not going off the needle until I am working it. And then pretty much this hand is doing all the work as far as the stitch goes, and then Thank you.